Aloha! In this video, I will talk about the argumentative research paper, and I'll briefly also talk about the annotated bibliography assignment. For the rest of the semester, we will be focusing on the research project, which consists of the argumentative research paper and the annotated bibliography. I discuss the annotated bibliography in more detail in a separate video. To start thinking about the research paper, you need to remember that you're writing an argumentative research paper. So you are taking your own topic, which is topic number 3. You're going to take that information and expand that topic into your research paper. And you are going to try to convince your audience that your opinion about your topic is believable. With the research component, you're going to add a lot more research to what you had in essay number 3. So essay number 3 is your starting point, and you can use the entire essay and just build on that by adding more information from the research that you conduct for the research paper. The parts of the assignment include reviewing the actual assignment, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes, and the annotated bibliography assignment, completing the expanding essay number 3 into your research paper. That assignment will be posted next week. And you'll also complete one more creating thesis and outline assignment for the research paper. You will write a first draft and a second draft of your research paper, and then your final draft. And the guidelines include using MLA format, which we've been using all semester long. The paper should be 7 to 10 pages. And again, don't panic when you hear that number. You're going to use essay number 3. You can use the entire essay, so that's already 3 or 4 pages that you have. And you're going to add to that. And next week, when you complete the expanding essay number 3 into your research paper assignment, you will come up with different ideas about how to expand your research paper, or to expand, essay number 3 into your research paper. You need to include a minimum of 7 sources. You can use the same sources that you used for essay number 3. You need to make sure that your sources are all reliable. So going back to week 6's lesson, you might need to review that information. You need to have at least 1 academic journal article, and you're limited to 2 personal interviews. And you want to include at least 1 direct quote and or paraphrase from each of those sources. So you'll have a minimum of 7. Let's take a look at the assignment. Make this a little bit bigger. So this basically just goes over what I mentioned. And again, I want to reiterate, please use essay number 3 as your starting point. You're using the same topic. You don't need to choose a separate topic. And again, here are the guidelines that I just mentioned. And I also want to let you know that there is a rubric that you can click on. So this link, click on that to see how you'll be graded for this particular assignment. For the annotated bibliography, I talk about this more in a separate lesson. So this is just a brief introduction so you can start thinking about what you need to do for this assignment, because it is tied to the research paper. For those 7 sources that you will use in your research paper, you need to put them into an annotated bibliography. So an annotated bibliography is actually a list of the sources that you actually directly quote or paraphrase. Not every single source that you use or refer to in doing your research, but only the ones you actually quote or paraphrase in your paper. You will additionally write a brief summary for each entry, so for each source. And the summary should be around 100 to 150 words. Again, in a separate lesson, I talk more about creating an annotated bibliography. I also have a sample annotated bibliography for you to refer to. But just for now, think about this assignment in terms of the sources that you're going to use for the research paper. You will need to include in your annotated bibliography. If you do use extra sources, say you use more than 7, you only have to, in your research paper, you only have to include 7 of those in your annotated bibliography. And again, I'll talk more about that in an upcoming lesson. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions about either assignment. Mahalo.